Welcome back, Source Nation. You're listening live to Renaissance Relationship Therapy with Life Purpose Coach Tem'Ti.
Good evening, Source Nation. I'm your host, Tem'Ti Sahu, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Renaissance Relationship Therapy, the show that, of course, gives you the relationship view you never knew, and it's a view that has the power to change everything. Now, Source Nation, if you're out there listening and you truly seek love, then it's time you devote as much effort into being relationship ready in the same way you devoted time into the school, training, seminars, and manuals that help you be ready for your jobs and careers. Unfortunately, most of us still see falling in love as something that just happens and never think about the education or skill set that is needed for success. Again, when it came to careers and jobs, there was, in a lot of cases, a clearly defined path. You knew what you wanted to do. You saw your aims, your objectives. There were benchmarks along the way. There were exams. And in a lot of cases, it led to your success. At the very least, you've achieved a job. At the most, you have a successful career, or maybe even your own business. But when it comes to love, there is no such path. So most of us go into love with a naive mindset and keep on falling and failing and falling again because we're simply not relationship ready. Now, if you believe or you think you are really relationship ready, that's great. That's excellent. But on today's show, we are going to be discussing other ways that are not so obvious that show that you may not be ready for a relationship. Very, very subtle points will be going through, and they may, well, these ones we actually really dug around and looked at the majority of things that people talk about when they say, well, I'm ready for a relationship because I did X, Y, or Z. But we, again, dug further and have come up with a multitude of things that we believe people don't really think about. And so this is a great show for you to actually, ask yourself some questions and take time out to really look at yourself and make sure that you are as ready as you think you are. Now, joining us on today's show to talk about this is the dynamic Coach Eden Adele. You may remember Coach Eden from a few weeks back. We had such a great time. We got a lot of calls and positive feedback about her that we decided to bring her back and lend her energy to help break down this very topic, ways you're not ready for a relationship that you don't even think about. So stay tuned for that, Source Nation. But first, let me go ahead and thank our sponsors who have made this show possible, and they are Zulina Health, Wellness and Fitness, Paper to Film Productions, Revolution Mills, Ren Ovations, Urban Grandstand Digital, Meet My Type Matchmaking, Blend to Blend Juice Bar Boutique, and New Covenant of Praise Worship Center. Also, Source Nation, remember to tune in every other Monday for Love Zone Mondays with Kathy B and co-host Dr. D. Yvonne Young as they speak with us about applying principles to strengthen and restore our relationship as we strive for longevity and success. So, Source Nation, we will be discussing the ways you're not ready for a relationship that you don't even think about. And remember this, more people are single today than at any other time in history. Since 1960, the divorce rate has tripled, with over half of all marriages ending in divorce. The overwhelming majority of single people desire a successful relationship and fear a failed one. The old ways of dating and partnering are clearly obsolete. They are simply not working for the majority of us. So we are going to be looking at why and, try to inspire some changes in the mindset out there. And we even have a tool. We've designed a tool to help folks. So we will be getting into that in just a little while. But I hope you're ready for this, Source Nation. You need to be. So stay tuned. We'll be right back just after these quick messages.
Stay tuned, Source Nation. You're listening live to Renaissance Relationship Therapy with Life Purpose Coach Tem'Ti.
Source Radio Network is just one of the many platforms that is used to fulfill dreams of our listeners and create a purpose that will impact the lives of our communities, cities, and the world. It is often said that great things will happen when a group of driven people work together to accomplish one goal. We're giving people the opportunity to have a voice, translate words that haven't been heard, and paint pictures that no one has seen. Source Radio Network is fueling your life's purpose. How can you listen? www.blogtalkradio.com/Source Radio.
Are you burdened with unsatisfying emotional, spiritual, or mental relationships? Where and how do you start to fix everything? Renaissance Relationship Therapy with Life Purpose Coach Tem'Ti is the relationship you never knew. Join Life Purpose Coach Tem'Ti every Sunday with special guests, including you, that will inspire, enlighten, change, and even surprise you on what you thought about your relationship. If you're ready to go there, then Life Purpose Coach Tem'Ti is already waiting. Renaissance Relationship Therapy with Life Purpose Coach Tem'Ti is the relationship you never knew, and the one that is going to change everything.
Welcome back, Source Nation. You're listening live to Renaissance Relationship Therapy with Life Purpose Coach Tem'Ti.
Source Nation, we are back with Renaissance Relationship Therapy. I'm your host, Tem'Ti Sahu, and I'll be talking with Coach Eden Adele about ways you're not ready for a relationship that you don't even think about. So that's coming up a little later in the show. But before we get into any of that, I just wanted to fill you in on something we've been working on over at Meet My Type. And, of course, you should know by now that Meet My Type is the business that I started a couple of years ago that is dedicated to conscious dating and matchmaking. That is, selecting and dating with your head screwed on and your eyes open. And we do this through matchmaking and singles events, seminars, personal advocacy, and matchmaking, and, of course, even through this show. So you can catch up on everything that we've been doing for the last few years at www.meetmytype.com and find out more. But I wanted to bring that up because what we've been working on, one thing in particular that we've been working on, we want everyone to be aware of, is our 80% path to love success. All right? Now, what is the 80% path to love success? And you know what? I told, we've been getting some responses to this, and some folks are like, well, why isn't it 100%? Why 80? Who wants 80? And I'll put it like this. We go to a lot of trouble to create an environment where two people or one person can meet a few people, and from all of them or one of them at least get a second date. This is a process. And it's 80% of the process, setting up the right situation, because the 20% in making sure that their success depends on you. You have to turn up. You have to put your coat on. You have to leave your house. You have to come to the event and talk. That's the 20% that's needed for the plan to be 100. So that's good numbers right there. We're doing majority of the effort. You just turn up. And the 80% that we do, I'm going to break it down for you right now, how much effort goes into this. The first thing that we do is we looked at a lot of studies that showed that at dating events, whether they're speed dating or, an event, just some singles event, singles who sit in the same seat for longer periods of time are less likely to leave their mental comfort zone, thereby taking less risk to meet someone new. And think about that. If you've ever gone to of course you've been to clubs, you've been to, parties, and you see the person, could be a male, could be a female, sitting there on their own. And they're there for like more than half the night, not getting up and talking to anyone. No one's really stopping by because everyone else is moving around, having a good time, talking, focusing on getting to know folks. And it's that moving around. And, of course, if you've ever been in that situation where you're the one sitting down, you know how it is. Your mind starts to play tricks on you. Your mind starts telling you, nah, there's nobody here. oh, what's the point? It doesn't make a difference. I'm comfortable anyway. Someone's going to take my seat. Well, crazy excuses. But when you get up and move, studies show that you get out of that, I'm on my own mindset, and you tend to mingle more and better and with confidence. So at our events, we have created a dynamic seating schedule that moves everyone around and puts everyone in the mood to talk and focus on finding their love. So that's one of the elements that we use to ensure that we get an 80% success rate at our event. The second thing we do is that if I introduce you to a new guy or a girl and I say, hey, here's so-and-so, what do you think of them? You're more likely to go into critique mode and try to find things wrong with them. But what we do differently at our event is that we give you a document, a relationship resume, okay? And we're the only event that does this. We have relationship resumes, and I'm going to talk about that a little later on. Some of you may be familiar with the resumes. They are these documents that we actually put together on each individual that comes to the event. So it's not information where some guy's saying, yep, I'm 7 foot tall, I used to play in the NFL, I own 7 cars. No, it's not, we don't give anybody the chance to brag and basically write nonsense on their resume. We actually put the resume together based on your personality. So it's totally objective. So we have this document, and we give it to you, and we tell you, hey, this person is a perfect match for you, okay? We've done the research, and it's all in this document. Rather than critiquing and looking for what's wrong, you're actually going to start looking for confirmation of what's in the document. This changes your mindset from a negative one to a positive one, where you're looking and searching for possibilities of how you and this person actually match according to the document. This is how we get more people to leave our event with second dates than any other event. Again, this isn't magic. This is not magic. This is just simple shining the light in a different direction, so you get another angle at what you're looking at. That allows you to make different decisions than what you normally would have made. A third thing that we do is we understand that an online dating environment, or even like going to a club, it's like a discount clothing store, in that if I took you to a discount clothing store and said, right, everything in here you can have, just pick one thing, you'll be there all day, because the brain finds it very hard to settle on one thing when there's literally thousands of choices. But if we go to the high-end boutique and I show you 6 custom, hand-picked pieces, your brain is now better able to process the situation and choose one with the comfort of knowing that it made the right choice. It made the right choice from an already high-end selection. So you're not making a choice and looking back and thinking, oh, man, should I have got that one? Maybe I could have got. No. You already picked from the best. And in that way, we get people to be more satisfied and to pick with much more confidence at our events, rather than slamming you with hundreds of choices. Again, this is done so that you can focus better. And if the right people are right in front of you, you get a better opportunity to, rather than being distracted by other options that maybe ain't so great. So those are 3 things that we do. The last thing that we do that's particularly significant is, we have HIPAA. HIPA stands for Hormonal Imprint Personality Analysis, And this you can Google. In fact, I want everyone to Google this, The hormonal imprint, or HI, happens at the time that we are born. And it is responsible for our core personality. That is the real, authentic you. Our ability to measure the HI gives us the ability to match two core personalities for the highest chance of personal and love relationship success. Now, this is our secret sauce. You know, other events, sure, they can do the seating arrangement, and they may even have documents, you know, and create an environment where you don't have hundreds of options, where you're only limited to a good 6. That's fair enough. But hip-hop? No. No one's got hip-hop. This is what we do. This is what makes us different. And when you're matching core personalities, you're matching on the level of instinct. You're matching on the level of nature. You're going beyond, you know, the conditioning that, well, every guy I have to be with, you know, has to have 4 houses and, you know, he has to be 7 foot. Sure, there's nothing wrong with wanting that. But then, you know, the perfect guy for you may be 6'8", and you're missing out on that simply because you're conditioned in a belief system that your guy or your woman must be a particular height. So HI is an extremely different way of doing things, but it works because people are really looking for authentic matches. A belief system is just something that your mind has created. That doesn't make it real for you. It doesn't make it good for you. Much in the same way, as much as you believe cocaine makes you work better, you can believe that, but the reality is something. So as much as we believe that we want or need this type of person in our life, there is actually a type that you naturally need and will get along with. We present you with that type. And this is why over 80% of the singles who attend our event, specifically our classic event, and you can go on the website to look at our classic event, they get second dates with people that they would have walked right past if they, you know, in the mall, or if the situation wasn't set up this way, they would have totally ignored them. So it's an amazing experience. Again, we're focused strongly in Atlanta right now, but, you know, we're trying to bring it out we're working on right now bringing it to other cities. And understanding HI is a dating industry game changer, and we're the only ones who have it. We use it for our resumes. We use it for our personal matchmaking platform. We use it for our other singles event, Trail. Again, you can look at Trail on the website, which is essentially a fast and furious and very fun dating game, very, very social. We should be announcing the next one coming up in the next few weeks. And we're currently talking to other folks in the industry, investors, promoters, matchmakers, dating sites, and apps. So if you're listening, yes, we are talking to you. And if you're a single who has access to the Atlanta area and wants to experience this event, yes, we are talking to you. And you need to go over to the site and sign up for the event. And like I said at the top of the show, there's schools for the type of intelligence that's needed to get your job going or get your career, but there's no school that prepares us with the emotional intelligence needed to make happy and healthy choices in love. But with HI, pioneered by Meet My Type, we're at least giving you an 80% chance to get it right. You just have to bring the other 20% by coming to an event. So that's how we make up for everybody who is not relationship ready. We create an event and an environment that's based on things that you would need to be relationship ready, i.e., putting the right information in front of you so that you can ask the right questions on the right things you wouldn't normally focus on. We put in front of you to get your mind in a state of readiness and awareness. Now, there are many things, even with our success rate of 80%, even in the best of situations, some of us still have issues maintaining healthy relationships because even though we want the relationship and we believe that, we deserve it, we are at different stages of readiness, which is fine on its own. But the problem is when you don't understand where in your personal ecosystem or where in your life you are not ready. And there's many things that make up relationships like work, family, self-love, purpose, etc. And they all must work together for us and relationship ready. Because if one area of our life is in discord, then it will be that one area that will be the cause of issues in your relationship. Now, I'll give you an example. You meet the girl or the guy, and they're virtually perfect. Man, you ticked off all the boxes, and this person looks like a hit. You got your mom on speed dial, you're ready to make the call, and but there's just one thing about them. There's just one thing about them that you have an issue with, okay? And again, that may not be a big deal, but what makes it worse is that they're not prepared to talk about it or even acknowledge it. They can't hear anything about it because they don't know or are not aware that there is possibly something that could do with some upgrading in their life. And if you push and try to talk about it because you are aware and you can see it, then you can seem like the bad person because you're trying to encourage them to talk about something they don't want to talk about. And that's how just one element in your life that's not relationship ready, that's not ready to open up to someone else, just one area can mess up a relationship, all right? That can spoil it, create discomfort, or definitely make you have second thoughts about going through with it. These are the red flags. When we talk about, what? I should have seen that. That was a red flag. He or she didn't want to talk about it. They got kind of prickly when I pushed the issue. Sure, you can smooth over it, but in time, that tiny red flag grows to be a huge, a blanket, a comforter, that covers the side of a building. It grows. So that's why being relationship ready is not about being perfect. It's about being aware, all right? And getting all areas of your life in order, or at least being aware of their state of readiness. That's the key to finding love. Because if you have a problem, at least you can talk about it. So we have created something, knowing that this is the situation, this is the status quo. We've created something that will help all people who are seeking for a relationship, even seeking to improve their current relationship. We've created something that will help to show you exactly where you are in your relationship readiness process, okay? It will even highlight the areas that you're potentially weak in. We call it the Relationship Readiness Quiz. All right, that's not really the most original name, but it is what it is. We wanted to call it exactly what it was, all right? This quiz is up and running right now on the website, okay? And you can actually view it and take it at www.meetmytypes.com, meetmytypes.com, meetmytypes.com/ready, okay? The word ready. If you go there, you don't have to do it now. You can do it at the end of the show. Again, we'll be able to identify which areas of your life are holding you back from being relationship ready. And we'll also be able to tell you what you can do about it. And it's a great tool. I recommend that everyone takes the quiz. And I actually want to give you a few examples of the information that's available to you once you get your answers. Some people are not going to need the additional information because, they'll score, 95 and, if you score in the high 90s, in the low 90s or mid 80s, based on the pattern of your answers, you're more than likely you're fine. You're fine. You've got a couple of things to work on. We may recommend a relationship plan, ways that you can get the person you want. And most definitely, we'll recommend you coming to one of our events. Because if you're relationship ready, you are going to kill it at the next Meet My Types event. For some people, they get 60, 70%, and there's usually one or two things they need to work on. And so we actually give you a lot of information that helps you to understand exactly what your weakness is, how to view it, and we even give you exercises for you to actually test your awareness once you've gone through the material. And, of course, we're going to sit down and talk with you. Remember, none of us went to relationship school. You know, if there is one out there, I've never heard of it. But we never went to relationship school, you know, or picked that as an option in our degree. And as a result, there are some real misunderstandings and distortions about what it means to have love and a happy, healthy relationship, okay? And just to give you an example, this is this is some of the information, just basically a sneak preview of what's in one of the information modules. We talk about the 3 stages of love, okay? Yes, everyone, there are 3 stages to love: lust, attraction, and attachment, okay? And it's important to break this down because once you break it down into these 3 stages, you'll begin to see where you may be making the same mistake or working in the dark and have not been able to see why you always make the same choices and these choices always go south at the same, you know, at the 2-month mark or whatever. And it's real interesting. I'm going to go into it, all right? And just to just give you a little bit more background about the 3 stages. They are like, it's like a 3-layered cake, all right? Love is like a 3-layered cake. All 3 stages of love are essential to getting the whole cake, all right? So all 3 parts work together to create one whole solution. But our miseducation in love makes us incorrectly take one single stage and think, that's it, I nailed it, I got love, you know what I mean, I win. But no, because each stage of love can be seen and misunderstood as, oh, this is love, I got this. It's just one stage, all right? So I'm going to show you. Stage 1 of love is love, okay? Simple love. It's the most obvious stage. It's the first thing that you feel. Stage of love is driven by the sex hormone. Okay, we're talking about testosterone and estrogen, all right? It makes you think about having sex with that person more frequently, all right? Remember, you're thinking about sex, not the person, all right? Some people incorrectly label this as love, but no, it's just the first stage. Remember, this person is still a stranger to you. And even though lust is a necessary part of any relationship on its own, it is not and cannot make a relationship. You're not relating to anything. It's just sex hormones. And they are powerful. So people think, oh, my God, this is it. I found the love of my life. No. What you found was a biochemical reaction that lets you know you are sexually compatible with this person. But now it's up to you to investigate the higher 2 stages, the next 2 stages. And if you don't, then, of course, what happens? You know, you're stuck at stage 1. You got all these hormones, these sex hormones going on. You think you have a relationship, but it burns out or it switches off the minute then another person comes your way that gets you even more hornier. You know, and this is a situation. We all know people like this. We may have been that person where by your sex organ, from relationship to relationship, or more aptly, from person to person. This is a typical pattern for people who cannot tell the difference between sex, all right? So that's that stage. The second stage of love is attraction, all right? Attraction is great when it builds upon lust. It's an even more fulfilling experience. So what's going on in attraction is that you have 3 major chemicals that come into play at this stage, all right? You have adrenaline. Adrenaline, that's what gives you butterflies, you know, sets your heart racing, makes you sweat when you see that person, makes your mouth all dry, you know. Adrenaline is going, man. You're in action mode. You want to go for it. Then you have dopamine, okay? This increases. This makes you feel great when you see that person. Makes you feel on top of the world. And When your dopamine goes up, the other major brain chemical is serotonin, okay? This serotonin is responsible for making you feel satisfied, for making you feel, that's enough, I'm good. We're good here, bro. We don't need to go any further. We can stick right here. I'm fine. But when your serotonin is low and it's driven low by high dopamine, it means that you can never get enough. You can never get enough. Satisfaction is hard to reach. So it makes you want to do something over and over and over and over and over and over again, just to get some level of satisfaction. You want to see that person over and over. You want to have sex over and over. You want to talk to them over and over and over and over, right? You know who else has low serotonin? OCD patients. You're going through a form of OCD. You cannot help yourself. Always going to call them. Always going to try to find a reason to see them. But this is the attraction stage, okay? So, you haven't bonded yet, but you're getting closer to that person. On its own, as part of the process, as part of the love process, fine, there's nothing wrong with being attracted. But on its own, stalkers, if you ever stalked anybody, which I hope you haven't, or you've been stalked, behavior. The person that you don't want to see cannot accept that they're not with you, or that you're breaking up, or that it's only been 2 weeks. Chill out. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not taking a shuttle to the moon. Calm down. I'm here. You can see me, just not every minute of the day. These are the people that believe that this stage 2 of attraction is love. It's twisted. Absolutely. It's twisted. And when you cannot tell the difference, again, when you're not aware of this behavior, you will do things over and over again and become that stalker. Become that person that can't accept that, that feel only because, it's only been 2 weeks, but we should move in already. You become that person. So intense, so obsessive. It's not love. It's obsession. And yes, sometimes we love it when people obsess over us, and it all feels great until someone gets hurt physically or emotionally, and that's when you realize, this was never love. they were crazy. I should have seen this. It was a red flag. This person was suffering from an overactive stage of love fueled by unchecked adrenaline and dopamine levels. All right? So that's stage 2 of love. Again, on its own, very, very dangerous. Then there's the last stage of love, the bonding, when you actually bond. And there are 2 main hormones that come into play at this stage, oxytocin and vasopressin. Okay? They are bonding molecules. They're sometimes even known as the love molecules because that's what makes you want to stay with somebody after orgasm. It's released during orgasm. So you know how sometimes, you're with somebody, you've been kind of dating for a couple of weeks, you haven't slept with each other, but you're still kind of respectful, using first name basis and, still polite, and that's fine. But after you sleep with them, now it's no longer first name, it's pet names. Oh, schmuggums, I don't know, what the hell. Baby cakes, whatever you like to call your partners, all that starts coming out. More hugs and touching, gazing into eyes. Orgasms, hugging, touching, or even just having close proximity to somebody for an extended period of time can create heightened oxytocin and vasopressin levels in males and females, making them feel like I owe this person something. I need to protect them. I want to have their kids. This is what creates families. And it's also responsible for friendships. Long-term friendships are based on these bonding molecules. Now, how can this be mistaken as love? Easily. Have you ever had an intense crush on someone where you felt so connected to them? You never slept with them, You don't have no real attachments. You probably don't even know their name. But you've got such a ridiculous crush on them, and it's crazy. This is oxytocin and vasopressin without context, okay? It's not happening as layer 3 because there was no love. You bonded, and these are the types of situations where it can happen. You're being counseled, all right? Somebody's counseling you. It could be a professional counselor. It could be somebody mentoring you. But you start to become attached to the counselor. You start feeling a connection. That's your vasopressin and oxytocin. Or it could be a situation where it's the cashier or the barista who accidentally touches your hand when giving you your change. And you're like, huh. And then all of a sudden, you find yourself going back to the bar to order another drink and another and another. Okay, you try and mix it up. You get some food, and then you go back later and get another drink. And you're doing all of this just to see them, just to be near to them, just to touch them, just to see if they recognize you. You're bonding. You're bonding. And you're crushing over somebody who probably doesn't even know you exist, or certainly may not look at you in the same way. All right? You touch their hand, and all of a sudden you're planning wedding vows in your mind, making silly excuses to go back to do to buy stuff you don't even want just to see them. And a lot of us have done it. I've done it. I was like 17 at the time, and I swear to God, I kept that fried chicken place in business. Because you know what? When I realized what I was doing, in fact, I was doing it for a period of months. I was crushing on the girl, and she was just giving me chicken, serving me like everybody else. But I felt bonded to her. It's crazy. And it's only when my homeboys come around my house and they saw all these chicken boxes. I'm 17. I'm not throwing stuff away. So, you see all these empty chicken boxes, and they're like, what's going on? You got a problem, bro? You got a problem. Why all the chicken? And that's when it's like, okay, you know what? I need to check myself. But it took a mini intervention like that to make me realize what was going on. Here's another example. Stockholm Syndrome. This talks about where the woman who was kidnapped, and over time, she was still kidnapped by this gang, by this armed gang. But she started becoming involved and closer with one of the gang members, and even started getting involved in some of their heists, simply because she felt a sense of attachment. Oxytocin and vasopressin is part of the human condition to want to attach to someone, So feeling bonded to people that you normally wouldn't give the time of day to, or falling for someone who gives you attention. It could be a superior at work who's only doing their job. They may not even like you like that, but because they're giving you attention, this turns into a twisted form of bonding for some of us. These same components are also at work, in prison, where people join gangs or start feeling emotionally close to people of the same sex because they're bonding. People even bond with animals in this way. Again, this doesn't involve layer 1 or layer 2. And, again, you have to ask yourself, why do I feel so bonded to somebody I haven't sexually or practically connected with? And at that point, that's when you can break the cycle. If you ask that question, you can keep it moving. Or you find, you can look for, well, is there really a true context for why I feel such a bond? And there might be. There might be. You start talking to the person and you find out, hey, your mother is from this place? Wow. Because my mother was also from that place. And, you're not related, but I'm saying, you may find that there's a cultural connection between you guys. There may be a real context for the bonding. But you got to talk. You got to talk. And, a lot of the time, in a lot of crushes, we don't talk. We don't talk because we're too shy. And, in those kind of situations, people who are typically shy, who are typically sexually inexperienced, or, are sexually out of touch with themselves, they're the ones that usually find themselves at this layer of love, trying to bond with people that they're too scared to sexually express themselves with. This can also happen with somebody who's bonded with someone, again like a crush, and you're like, I know this is real. I know this is real love because I'm not even thinking about sleeping with her. This has to be real. That's one of the ways in which we create a belief system to justify this type of bonding. But it's not love. It's just oxytocin and vasopressin. You'd have to go through the other two stages to make sure you have a healthy, whole, and balanced criteria for love. So we know when you're going out there creating problems for yourself simply because you don't recognize these patterns of love or you're misunderstanding love, okay? Which means you have to be conscious of what is going on when you are trying to date somebody or when you think you're falling in love. And consciousness, oh my goodness, this is another part of the education, all right? There's 10 parts to it. There's actually 10 parts to it. And these are just very small pieces of it. But when it comes to being conscious in love, conscious dating just means that you are aware of the big picture of what you're doing and what everyone else is doing, i.e. the people you're interested in. You're also aware of your past, present, and future possibilities in terms of what you've done in the past, your dating habits, what worked, what didn't work, what you want to try now, and what possibly can happen. You are aware, and you take all of this into account when you're trying to talk to somebody new. And also, you bring all of this experience into this situation, humbly aware that you don't know what you don't know, all right? You simply, for what you don't know, you accept, there may be some things that are going to be new in this situation that I haven't experienced. You realize that there may be more to the situation that you can see or understand, but you are aware of your goals and you'll do your best to learn more about the situation and examine your options to make the best possible choice in alignment with your goals of trying to be with that person. And if those goals are met, great, you keep it moving. That is conscious dating, right? And you can contrast that to semi-conscious dating. That's when you're faced with the facts of a situation. You are aware of what is happening. She doesn't really like me. He's not that much into me, or he's married or something else. But you create your own version. You create your own version of the facts just so that you can sleep better at night, and you can convince yourself that, what you're trying to do isn't what you're really trying to do. It's something else, kind of like the guy or the girl who says, well, you know what? Yeah, I'm cheating, but you know what? It's not really cheating because my partner, he or she needs more time at home to study. They have an exam coming up, so they don't have that much time for me. So I'm giving them time. And in the meantime, so that I can be out of the house, well, I'm just happy to spend some other time with this person. That's what I'm talking about. You know the reality, but you create to kind of fool yourself into justifying bad behavior or behavior that, hey, this really isn't the best thing I could be doing. That's semi-conscious dating. And then lastly, there's unconscious dating, where you have no clue. You are just like literally, you don't know what's going on, okay? You're driven by your hormones, or you're driven by other people's desires. Someone into you. Some guy or some girl's like, you know what? Let me talk to you. What you doing now? Come to my house. And there's people that were literally like, okay, all right, it happens. Maybe it happens more when you're younger, but it happens, And in these situations, people get abused mentally, physically, emotionally. They allow things to happen to them, and they are unaware that they have a choice to leave or change the situation because they are unconscious. Unfortunately, it's only when they crash, burn, or sink that they realize, I've been in a daze all this time. What was I doing? Okay, we've all had that wake-up moment. That's unconscious dating. So these are just a couple of the things that we do, talk about based on your answers. A lot of great information that you can get from just answering those 10 questions on the Relationship Ready Quiz. All right? So we are going to go more into relationship readiness and all the ways in which you may not be as relationship ready as you think. So we got our guest coach coming up. She's warming up now. So we're going to get into that momentarily. Just want to give out a big shout to the sponsors who have made this show possible, and they are Zulina Health, Wellness and Fitness, Paper to Film Productions, Revolution Mills, Ren Ovation, Urban Grandstand Digital, Meet My Types Matchmaking, Blend to Blend Juice Bar Boutique, and New Covenant of Praise Worship Center. Okay, Source Nation, we are almost there. We are going to be talking about ways you are not ready for relationships that you don't even think about. Hey, and if you listen to this, we come up with at least one thing that's like, man, I never thought about that. You need to go and take the relationship readiness quiz, okay? All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we shall have Coach Eden Adele in the studio to have a conversation about ways you are not ready for a relationship that you don't even think about. Stay tuned, Source Nation. We will be right back.
Stay tuned, Source Nation. You're listening live to Renaissance Relationship Therapy with Life Purpose Coach Tem'Ti.